analysis of this is a final portion of assessment of the cloud. So cost benefit analysis, the cloud provide highly many types of benefit. First of all, it provides a pay-as-you-go model, like no upfront cost is needed for hardware and infrastructure maintenance and other permanent cost. It also means if we're moving to the cloud, then personal cost of maintenance of the server and infrastructure, maintenance of power and the cost of the power, and cost of the space where the server are kept or the infrastructure are kept is taken care of by the cloud service provider. It enables business to focus on their core business function. Let's say, I'm currently working on a startup which is focusing on selling seeds and fertilizer to the farmers. So it is a platform marketplace to connect the sellers of the seeds and fertilizer, both inorganic and organic fertilizer, and to the farmers. So now if we worry about the infrastructure, the hardware, etc., the network, then where will we have a time to build up our marketplace? So in that way, it is helping the companies to focus on what they are meant for and what they are good at. It also eliminates the need to spend additional resources as business expands. Like if today I need one server and my business is expanding less than 3 weeks, I need 3 servers. So I don't have to worry about how many server I need. And in tomorrow, I was using 10 server, and after the season is over, off season is there, then I can come down to 1 server need. So easily it is adjustable. Cost for backup, then there are costs like if you are running a company, and so we are maintaining our data in a server, and if let's say our business is data intensive, so then backup of our data is needed regularly. So there are software which can do automatic backup. Replication softwares are there, because one hardware, as we saw in the service level agreement, if you are using SDD, it has a 5% failure rate. Now, if you are using SSD, that also has a failure rate. Now, if you are maintaining only one copy of the data, then out of 100 months, chances that out of 100 hard disks, 5 hard disks will have a failure. So that has to be taken into consideration. But while moving to cloud, they do the backup and everything. We don't have to worry about the backup restoration. And if we have taken the disaster recovery feature while choosing our cloud service, then they are going to do restoration and backup and disaster recovery, everything they will take care of. Now, there are key factors to consider for cost benefit analysis, like what is the actual cost of moving to the cloud? That has to be there. So like actual cost is not how much we are paying to the cloud service. There are many other costs apart from the moving to the cloud service or paying the monthly subscription or hourly subscription rate. The forecasting, load balancing, and associated cost has to be kept. Deciding right size of the infrastructure need or server need or my services need is also need to be taken care. After calculating all this, then what is the total cost of ownership? So Azure provide the total cost of ownership. Later on, we will see example. And I will also show you an example where moving to the cloud might be expensive if not used properly. Then the cost of subscription, the licensing model, and approaches for cost cutting. So measuring the actual cost. Now, cloud computing is a big investment, right? Now, if we are putting some money, we should get a benefit in the long term. So to show this efficacy, or to show that the business will gain in a long term, they are getting this much benefit. Cloud service provider provides the benefit, how much financial benefit a person will have or a company will have if they move to the cloud. They have most of the cloud service providers that kind of uh, uh, tools which you can directly measure it. To assess the value of this investment, the actual cost must be weighed on the benefit of the cloud outcomes. Like, let's say I have a business and which actually has a cost of $1,000 per month, let's say, and my business is giving me benefit, let's say $2,000, let's say twice what I am putting in. Now, if I'm moving to the cloud and my business, my cost to moving to the cloud became $5,000 a month, and my business is not expanding to $10,000 a month, it still remain $2,000 a month or $3,000 a month. So moving to the cloud, actually, the business can lose the money. So uh, analyzing the actual cost will help decide whether we should move to the cloud is giving us benefit or not. So one person has given a model, this in research paper. What they say, that total cost per month is actually what is the cost of compute we are paying to the cloud. And then there is a very big cost comes for persistent storage. That means persistent storage means when we are not taking when let's say we have created a virtual machine, right? Now we can delete the virtual machine. Now we have created a storage. We have asked that this much storage is needed, and we put the data, and we want data to be there when we are not going to use our resources, because we do not because uploading data and downloading data from uploading data to the cloud is not costly, means they don't charge you. But if you download the data from the cloud, that's the time they charge you. And so to avoid that, some space which is necessary, that is persistent storage, is needed. So that is cost is come. Then IP address price of the virtual machine we are going to use, dedicated IP address. So that has a cost. Then depending on what support uh, company or business you are using asking from the cloud service provider, that comes with the cost, whether only the FAQ is sufficient, or there are other client who has posted a question, solution to is sufficient, or they want direct calling or remote desktop connection or team viewer based connection, and then handling their problem, or they want physically a person in their premise and to sort the issue. So those all can takes the cost per month. Now, a forecasting cloud environment should provide a forecasting, like a load balancer. It should provide, which can, depending on the need, it can forecast that now you need this many server in this many hours. So, and then this will provide also that how to automatically enable the extra increase of the server or additional resources. And that should be in a cost efficient manner. Like, we are not asking in the upfront that I want 5 server. We are saying that we are going in a auto scaling format, and depending on or we are taking 3 server, and the traffic and other thing has to be equally distributed in the load has to be distributed in my 3 server. So that should come with a cost efficient manner. Now, it is very wise to use load balancing ability of the cloud if my business is of scale. Let's say I'm a highly scaling company which is growing at a rate of 15% or 10%. That is considered a high growth rate, or 20%. That kind of businesses or load balancers should be there, so that it can optimize and improve the capability of the server. And when more is needed, it can launch more automatically, and not needed, it can reduce it. Right sizing. So, like what size of infrastructure can give the better efficiency? That is called right sizing. So that has to be decided, and depending on the time of the business or different time period, different type of or different size of infrastructure is needed, and we should be able to predict, and the cloud service provider should be able to provide either on a logic base, like we can decide, okay, when my load of the server goes 80% or 75%, recruit or initiate another server and balance the load. Or if my storage requirement reaches 80% of my current, then double my storage. So that kind of prediction or right sizing should be useful. And it should provide the right tool which can help to manage or decide what could be the infrastructure cost. And it will be also be beneficial if cloud service provider provides a tool which can help us optimize our cost. That means they can provide a tool which can, based on our usage, it can tell that, okay, you have chosen this size of infrastructure or services, but actually you are using this to 80%, and this you are using almost none or 10-20%. Why you are paying? You can further optimize your cost by redefining your services, and that cloud service providers should allow in this SLA and or with a minimal expense, so that overall our cost is less. Now, how to calculate total cost of ownership? There are many things need to be considered, and every cloud service provider has a slightly different way to calculate the total cost of ownership. Like people also take into account what is the electricity cost you are paying in your country, or if your electricity cost is a variable, then they also model it, your electricity cost, the variability. So TCOs can provide the financial estimate, like how much cost will be there for we are taking the service throughout its lifetime. It is a very good practice to find out what are the hidden costs involved in the process and account every small expenses that might occur at various stages of cloud deployment. For example, if we want to move to another cloud, then cloud migration, the delay and the person involved, and evaluation cost, and if we are breaking the lock-in period, what cost is taking. Moving to the new cloud provider, the migration of data is another costly, because in a cloud, as I said, remember, downloading a data is expensive, uploading is not. Like we can take Amazon Web Services, we can upload the data, that time they won't charge. The moment we say we want to download it, they will charge, or we want to use the data with our virtual machine, have the two-way interaction with the storage. If we are just putting the storage, no charge. The moment we want to use it, the storage, it will charge. So total of cost of ownership will depend on what type of organization, what are the functions supported by the cloud solution. Like type of organization means if I am a small scale, and then I would like to go for basic kind of cost provided by the cloud. If I am a mid-size, then I might go for premium services. If I am a large size, I will go for ultra premium or super premium services or super premium features. If I am let's say US defense, then I will say, okay, I want a dedicated cloud data center. So they pay for the cost. Okay. So functions supported by the cloud solution, what kind of function they're providing. The different, for example, if we are going for software as a services thing, then Salesforce is the better platform. But if you are going for overall the machine learning kind of services, then Amazon Web Services or Azure or Google Cloud Platform are a better one. For certain kind of thing, better abilities there in Azure, not in Amazon Web Services. So what functions supported by the cloud solution? Then performance requirement for different kind of workload. What are the training cost for your people? Like you are going through this colloquium and the TAs are there to show you, or but in not everyone has that ability now. Some company people are there now, they have to train their people, and if you go for their in-house cost for training for Azure, it really goes for 3,000, 5,000 euro for 2-3 day workshop or training. So that cost has to be taken into account, and maybe 2-3 days is not enough. And then the cloud risk management. So those are all come into the cost of ownership. In the tissue total cost of ownership, one should also cover what is the real cloud operation cost in the light of changing demand. Means when the demands are changing for my business, what will be actually cost? Currently, we decided, okay, I need a 64 GB RAM and 28 core machine and 500 GB SDD. Now I say, okay, auto scale. Now and then there are peak time, peak cost is there. If you later on in the TA can show you what are the different costs during the peak time and non-peak time, depending on availability of the VMs at different cloud provider. So what are the legal costs, like potential legal costs? Let's say I am running on my on-premise my hosting my application. Now, if I'm doing a healthcare industry and I'm doing operation in Europe, then I have to comply two things, GDPR and HIPAA. Now, if I am not able to maintain the GDPR and HIPAA, then what are the potential legal costs my company has to suffer? So that has to be taken into consideration. That should not be taken, okay, we are always going to maintain GDPR and HIPAA. But now, if we take this matter on the cloud service provider, okay, you maintain the GDPR and HIPAA, why should I worry about? They will charge, but that charge will be quite less compared to the legal cost if the legal case is been filed on the company. Then cost of decommissioning on-premise resources and maintaining the redundant facility. For example, we are currently running a company and we are maintaining our own server and our hosting in premise. Now, company decided to move to the cloud, but these hardwares are there, and to even throw it or decommission it, it requires a cost. And then the time period, this server, etc., don't go away. The facility on which it is there, the payment has to be given. So that has to be taken into consideration. And then what are the savings will be there? Let's say we are maintaining an on-premise thing, and let's say infrastructure needed is $100,000. And if we put this money into some kind of businesses or even a balanced investment, what income it can generate, or a long-term sovereign bond, what income it can generate. And because of we put on-premise, we lost this much money. And sometimes they also use this money to calculate if that money is invested in a business, and if that company has a 10% growth rate, how much loss they could do if they maintain their on-premise. So this is a various way the cloud service providers show that moving to the cloud is beneficial. In fact, I also agree to them that moving to the cloud is beneficial in most cases. And moving to cloud, it can also increase the productivity, because a lot of things company don't have to do. We can focus on efficiency, and scalability is there, and cost of hiring and training who are maintaining the cloud solution, that has to be taken care. the cloud engineers are not easy to get. It's not an easy skills to be available yet. There's not too many people knows this kind of thing. So getting right people is expensive. Like you have a TA and who is taking the digital lecture. He was a cloud engineer in Adobe, and he was being paid tremendous amount. Means someone with 12 years experience, the salary will get in India, he was getting just as a fresher. So cloud engineer salaries are very, very high. It's not so easy to maintain. So there are other costs are there, like license fee. If we are having an on-premise, the database cost, the operating system cost, a different application, like physical resources, as you know that where we are putting the server, etc., equipment, then upgradation cost every 3-5 years, the electricity and cooling cost, the public utility cost. So these are all has to be taken into consideration to decide the total cost of ownership. Then there are a subscription of like subscription licensing model and cost cutting. So subscription pricing model allow the company to access cloud service after an upfront payment is made. So immediately you pay the payment and you can immediately access it. Licensing in the cloud is a very tricky, where organization must draw the cost difference between obtaining license per user per device or the enterprise license based on their usage need. So let's say my company has 1,000 employee, and if we say that we want to go for per user per device we are using, in fact, Netflix, you take example, Netflix, if you take a basic membership, it gives you access to 3 devices, and sometimes one person need a 3 device. I might be using a TV in the daytime. When I'm going to sleep, I want to see on my phone or on my tab. So that device is also counted. So we have to decide whether we need an enterprise level license or a floating license or pay per user license. So this kind of thing is needed to decide. Now, if you go to this link, let me put this link to you here. You can access. So if we go, right? So this link will take you here, right? So this will take you here, and here if you see, it allows you to choose what kind of currently you are using. Let's say I am using a Windows server, okay? And let's say make it bigger. And I want virtual machine. I not want physical server, let's say, though we are working on physical server, but we thought that, okay, virtual machine should be okay. And Windows system and operating system license, let's say data center wide, or let's say standard. And we want 16 virtual machine. Maybe my company has 16 people. And what kind of virtualization? I want, let's say Hyper-V, which is provided by Microsoft. So because we are using Azure, Hyper-V will be cheaper. The functionality wise, they might differ in some places. Now let's say I want 32 core and RAM 128 GB, and my major load is CPU, not memory intensive. So I went there. Now I do not have any database in my software. Like I do not have any SQL, let's say. Or if you want SQL server, let's say I want SQL server, and per server one, the core needed 1, the RAM needed 1 GB, and it is physical server. And these are the configuration is there, and there are 2 core per instance is needed. So then this database is added. Okay, or if you don't want, we just remove it, right? Now storage, since we want very high efficiency, SSD type. I do not want SSD type. It has the transfer rate is lower, and my business requires 16 terabyte of SSD dedicated, or let's say reduce it 4 terabyte. I am a small size company, 4 terabyte. Backup, let's say we want backup to double backup, 8 terabyte. And we want archive, the most accessed database to be archived 1 terabyte, right? Other I am keeping by default. Networking. Now, this is, if we click, it says what is a monthly network bandwidth, means how much data going up and to and fro. It is both way data. So 2 terabyte will be efficient, or let's say 200 gigabyte. So per day, around how much? If I take 210, then 30 GB, right? So per day, 30 gigabyte interaction is a very small interaction time. And say next. So now it is saying, do you want to adjust assumption? Okay. So whether we want Windows Server assurance coverage, yes. Since I'm not using any SQL server, so I don't want this. And others I kept default, it is keep suggesting no. Now it is saying the electricity cost they are calculating as United States. Now, if you know the electricity cost in Norway, we can put it, but let's say we are doing it for US. So keep it. And this is average. In US also, different state has a different rate and different county has a different rate. And the storage procurement cost, etc., they have put whatever they calculate default needed. And the IT labor cost, they are charging it like full-time administrator will be $100 US, and number of virtual machine to manage $120 US. Then hourly rate for IT administrator is $23. And there are other assumptions like hardware cost, right? There are software cost for operating system for on-premise, like Windows 2 core pack, $769 per year will be the cost. Electricity cost per core. So all these things they have automatically kept. Networking cost, like 15% of the hardware and network cost will be the networking cost. So that is 0.15 per GB. USD per GB is the cost. So after this, they are going to give an estimate. So that in 5 years, if you are using on-premise services, then you will save $36,000 if you compare to cloud, depending on the requirement we set. So since it is a very small enterprise where our daily requirement is 21 gigabyte of data transaction per day. Now let's go back. Now let's go back and change only one thing, which is the network bandwidth. Let's say instead of 210 gigabyte, mine is a 5 times more. Let's say 1 TB of data intensive. Let's say I'm having a Netflix kind of video sharing platform. My business is a video sharing platform. So 1 terabyte of, which is still a very small, 1 terabyte of data transfer is there. Okay. And I simply say next. And I will say next because I'm not changing anything. You see, simply with increasing my data usage to 5 times, you can see the cost saving is increasing. Now, if I increase further, then you will see that simply how much data to and fro happening, the cost can vary, right? So this is something to be noted. And there was one example I would like to show. Like, I have this server in my team on which you're probably going to do the Docker experiment colloquium. So that has a 1 TB of RAM and 96 core and 8 A10 server. So I paid 180,000 US dollar, and including the warranty and everything. So you see what is the price per month. If you take 3 years of reserved, then $7,941 per month. So you see 7,941 into 36. So within 3 years, it is 285,000 US dollar. That means if my team utilize it and they make a virtual machine of this size and then don't utilize it, then my cost can be way higher than this. And I'm estimating this server to be there for 5 years. Now, something I have not taken into account, like since it is in a UIT, I'm getting the department network administrator to manage it. I'm getting the UIT power, electricity, network cost, everything. So when I already have it and I'm paying that from my project, all this cost. And if I go to a cloud, so if I take that much amount for 5 years, I have to pay almost $500,000, but I only paid $180,000. So it depends. One can argue that we are not using it a lot of time. Yes, we are not using it a lot of time, but data transfer and downloading, uploading, that can may cost you a lot of money. So this is one such example that time, if we have not decided right sizing, then cost can be higher. Now, this is our last topic. In 2-3 minutes, we will finish our lecture. So cloud vendor interdependence. With time, sometime our company switch from, let's say, using Azure, then next time thought that something better is needed for my company, which service is available or functionality is available on Amazon. So let's move to Amazon. Nowadays, the migration from one cloud to another cloud is becoming more easy. Okay. So nowadays, migration from one cloud to other cloud is becoming easy, but still we have to check whether the migration they are allowing easily and what type of limitation are there. So the common issue arises when we move from one cloud vendor to other cloud vendor, like complexity. Like many times nowadays, companies are using multiple cloud vendors. Like for certain business department, they are using Amazon Web Services. For other business department, they are using Azure. And now if we are a service provider company where we take IT service provider, then for one client, we are using Azure, another client, we are using Amazon Web Services, third client, we are using Google Cloud. And if we have a Chinese client, then we are using Alibaba. And due to this law, many type of contract will be there, and sometime it's better to have a single contract. But if you're using multiple cloud vendor, having a single cloud contract is not possible. And now lack of consistency in quality will be there. Like my one application runs better on Google Cloud Platform because it has using a library which is available in the Google Cloud, but other application which is working on Amazon Web Services, and both have to integrate. And lack of consistency in quality from Google and Amazon can create an issue of desired service level. Sometimes a cloud provider gives big picture. Okay, like we are doing this and do that and that, but often we miss the big picture. So a proper interaction with the service provider should be there to understand what if they are offering 100 things like a mobile phone we have, right? Or Apple phones, 1200 euro cost. Now, a lot of time we are not actually using all the features which is provided by Apple phone, but we are paying for it. Now, it can happen that we might be paying what we don't need it. So proper interaction they can help to decide what is right for us. So finally, choosing a right scalable application is also needed. If my business is scalable, so we should have like our application should be designed to support scalability of the cloud. If my application which we are running in our company, which is not scalable, moving to the cloud is not going to give benefit of scalability. So with this, we end our summary is there, which is basically summarizing today's discussion. So I hope you have got certain idea about it, and thank you for attending my lecture.